Welcome to Changing Suits. We're your hosts, Val
and Taj, discussing the latest news, views, and general life for us Western Asians.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, changing_suits, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Hi, welcome to Changing Suits. My name's Val.
And my name's Taj.
In today's episode, we are going to be discussing, are we turning into our parents? Da, da, da. Thank you very much.
I thought this would be a really good topic to discuss because as much as we say, oh, when we grow up, I'm not going to be like this, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to be doing this like my parents do. Have you found that we're starting to do a lot of things that our parents used to say and do? And then when you do them, you're like, oh, now I understand why you're doing it.
Yes, definitely. But then it's the stage of the life that you're in. Because even being Sook, we're always screaming at the kids like, don't do this, don't do this. And then you feel like you're like, oh my God, I'm definitely a parent. But it is at that stage when you were kids, you're like, I don't understand why we don't just live off sweets. Why do we have to eat roti? That sort of thing. I mean, whereas now, obviously, I wouldn't make my kids eat sweets for breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Our parents did not do that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They wouldn't let us do it. And as kids, you don't understand why they don't let you do it.
Oh, okay, I see where
you get where I'm going from.
I was like, our parents didn't do that. They weren't horrible.
No, but that's what I mean. Whereas now we get why you shouldn't be eating sweets every second of the day.
So flipping it around, I understand the parents, obviously, because we're parents, their perspective is now. Like, because when we were younger, when it was school days, we didn't get up and we used to drag our feet out of bed. And now we're like on the weekends, the kids wake up so early and you're like, why are you waking up so early? So now obviously you're on the parent side of things and you're like, yeah, why are you doing that?
But then do you think that what goes around comes around?
So does. I used to be such a bad eater, really fussy, really picky about everything. And oh my God, has it come around? Both, not one of them, but both my kids are really fussy eaters. Which is so annoying. But it's like, yeah, it serves you right.
But then it's true, right? It does happen. And then you're like, now I understand why this is happening because I was a pain in the butt then. Now I'm getting that. Yeah. Because it's like with my kids, they're crazy. They will fight like cat and dog, which you know, because apparently everyone knows that my kids fight like crazy.
But yeah, you and younger brother used to fight like cat and dog as well. And I remember you used to run round and scream at each other and everything. Yeah, and your kids are exactly the same as you guys are.
Exactly. And then I remember when we were younger, mum and dad would never tell us off. They'd just be like, okay, whatever. And now I'm at that stage where it's like, okay, I can't be bothered. Just do what you want to do. Pull each other's hair out. Do whatever you want. Just don't get me involved. And now I get it. It was a pain then when they wouldn't say anything. And now it's a pain the fact that they expect me to say something.
And another thing is, you know, when we used to be on the sofa.
Can I just say, within 3 minutes of starting to record, we've actually come out with so many things. So obviously this is a very hot topic for us because usually it takes us a few minutes to warm up and get into the conversation. Here we're like da 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 da.
Oh yeah, that is true. I didn't realise we had so much. And one thing, do you remember we used to sit on the sofa and Mum used to be like, "Oh, hoover karo, do the hoover," and then it just became background noise. You just kind of ignored it. And now my kids do exactly the same. And it is so annoying. I'm screaming my head off and yet nothing. There's nothing. They hear nothing.
Yeah, but you know that's selective hearing. We had this today where Sook had said, oh, get me some Sprite. Now we don't tend to have that many fizzy drinks, right? But like my little one was like, Sprite. And it's like, oh, so you heard that. And then literally 5 minutes later I told him to do something and he didn't hear me. So it's complete selective hearing.
Well, you know what kickstarted me thinking that we should do this podcast is because I keep, sadly, a lot of margarine tubs.
Yeah, I saw your social media post. Yeah, that made me smile.
So basically, I keep them, and now I know why you keep them. Because if you need to put leftover sabji or dal in them, and the haldi stains your Tupperware, so sad. But it stains the Tupperware. I know, but hey, we're getting older and you've got to see these kind of things. So now I know why you keep the margarine tub so you can put your dal and sabji in there.
Yeah, but it's
But the
still annoying when you open that to toast your bread, but it's not margarine. It's still
yeah,
annoying.
and then when it gets ugly and then it's just off date and you're like, okay, I'm gonna buy all the see-through tubs that I can. I'm gonna do it. And then when you go to the shops, you're like, no, why don't I just use the margarine tubs? And
Yeah.
the way that I remember our Marcy used to keep carrier bags. They were
Oh
like
my God.
gold dust.
Do you know? Yeah, but to be fair, now they are like gold. I mean, you have to pay 20p every time you bloody go to Tesco, so I get it
And
now.
and do you know what really made me think to myself, I'm a loser? Is there was a carrier bag and it was wet, and I hung it out to dry.
Oh my God, that's exactly what I was about to
Oh,
say.
you loser!
Do you do that? Oh my God. Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. So I've started to do that where if it gets dirty, I do that with you know those plastic sandwich bags. I'm like, do I really need to throw this away? I'll just wash it and it dries and then you use it again. But the problem is I went to Costco and bought 2 massive boxes. So
Yeah.
that should last me my whole lifetime. That's quite sad.
I just feel really sad.
But on the positive of that, we are reducing plastic pollution.
Oh
Ah,
yes, yes. But when our parents or Marcy or whoever used to do it,
they were just
that was,
backwards.
yeah, they were backwards. But now we're doing it. We're environmentally friendly.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, how things change. It's what perspective you're in, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my God, I thought I was the only one that did the carry bag thing. You are a loser as well then.
Yeah, I am. This is the first time I revealed. It feels like all the secrets are coming out on this podcast. I mean, one of the things also was I can't make a round roti till this day. My husband's not very impressed with it.
Oh, your husband's not very well. Maybe you should tell your husband to get in the kitchen and make his own round roti.
That is true as well. I can make nice paroti, but not roti. And it kind of brings me back to the fact that mum used to say, oh, learn seklo, seklo, gosh, learn something. Because then when you go and get married, your mother-in-law's going to think that you can't cook. And I didn't
And you
go.
realise you can't cook, so it's not a problem.
Yeah. So I didn't really listen to mum because it was background noise. And I just learned on the job. So when I knew pretending I knew how to make dal or roti or whatever, I just kind of done it.
You know what I did? I've told you
Mm.
this story though.
No.
So I don't know. I didn't know how to cook anything. Like I didn't
Yeah,
really
you were a lazy bleep, weren't you?
a lazy bleep. Okay. I mean, I could get by, but basically there were certain things where I was like, okay, I should really know how to cook this. So after I got married, because my job was back in East London, I'd go home for the day. I'd learn how to do that thing, and literally the next day I would then make it
Oh,
over
yeah.
here. And then everyone would be like, "Oh yeah, you know how to cook." No, I just learned yesterday, but we kept that a secret until this podcast. So it's true.
No secret anymore.
I don't know how to cook.
Well, yeah, I did similar things as well because obviously I live further away than you do to mum and dad. So I used to phone mum and say, right, how do you make torka?
But everyone does this.
But you have
Everyone
to
does this.
hide and pretend you're not doing it.
But do you think it becomes obvious when you haven't cooked and then because you've been avoiding it because I don't know, you've got a child now and all of a sudden you need to keep looking after your child and avoiding work. Oh, of course they would have realised that way before that because you wouldn't. It would have been, yeah. Anyway,
No, I've cooked before making the children.
as long as you cook the children, it's all good.
Yeah, that is true. But yeah, I mean, one thing I remember is just going back on the tidying up thing. Do you remember when you told our brother to go and pick up something from the floor?
Yes, 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 yes. The stapler.
Yeah. Do you want to
So,
tell what was it?
so it was actually really funny. So I remember the stapler was in between two of the sofas. You know those old school sofas where they had a gap in between the handles? I don't know if you like on the floor. So anyway, there was a stapler there. I don't know what it was doing there, but it was there.
Resting.
And I needed the stapler, or he did. I can't remember. And I got the stapler. He got the stapler, and then stapled it. And then he went and put it back in exactly the same space on the floor in between the sofas. And it's like, but then why would you not pick it up and put it in the right place? But what's the reason for that?
Because you told him where to put it. You said put it back where you found it.
No, I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I can't remember the rest of this, but the point is, why would you put it on the floor again?
I thought it was because you said put it back where you found it, and I thought that was the story, but you really killed it. You've killed the story.
Oh, has it turned out rubbish? Maybe I should redo this podcast and say,
No,
yeah,
I'm sorry, it's too late. It's
all right,
done
fine.
now.
But the point of this story is the fact that the reason you did it is because you're going to leave it in the space you found it, so that then Mum could go and pick it up.
Yeah. But now, have you noticed that being the mother, when there's something on the floor, usually as a kid, you'd be like, yeah, whatever, let me just leave it there. But now, as an adult, you're thinking, okay, if I leave it there, it's never going to get picked up. I am the adult. I have to pick it up, which is so annoying.
And do you know when I realised that?
When?
I had some flowers. I think it was for my birthday. For some reason, I had flowers, and they died because everything comes to our house to die. And and yeah, it was in the vase in front of on the windowsill, and I'm like, okay, they've been dead there for like a month. Like, when are they going to move? And then at that point, I realised they're not going anywhere until I throw them away.
Yeah, it sometimes just dawns.
And that's when I realised I was the adult.
And do you forget you're the adult?
And life was shit because now I have to do all this stuff. I have to throw those mouldy flowers away.
Yeah. Hey.
Life.
But what about when I remember when we used to go around to Nanki's house, and Nani would be like, Shindy Bindi, and it's like she'd be calling one of them, but you'd go through every child's name.
Do you do that?
I do that.
Oh my god, I don't do that yet.
And then even when
you've only got the two of them. How hard is it to remember?
Well, the time I really realised this a lot when I was around your place, and all the nieces and nephews are there. So I'm calling one of the children's names,
and the wrong one turns up.
It was the wrong no, I was looking at the child and I'm calling the wrong name, but I'm thinking, you answer me. And they're like, but I'm not so and so. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Just give me the answer. You know I'm talking to you. I don't care whose name I'm spouting out.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
It happens quite a lot. It happens at home as well, to be honest.
You're turning old. Yeah, I don't do that. I haven't crossed that.
Hit that stage.
Threshold. Yeah, no, I haven't got that old. Although, this is where I think we've got a problem. We keep saying, oh, we're old, we're old. So this morning, I think I told you this earlier today, actually. So I like doing exercise in the morning, right? And I'm like, oh man, okay, another press up. Oh God, this is long. Same thoughts you have when you're doing exercise, right? And then in that second, I was like, actually, because Dad's just had an operation, right? And he's up and out, right? So it's a major operation, just so that listeners know. And he's up and out. And he's like, no, I can do this. I'm back to life. And you're like, you just had an operation yesterday, literally. I think you need to rest. Where he's like, no, I can do this. So at that moment, I was like, I need to sort myself out. I'm doing this press up. It's not the end of the world. Just get on with it. And it does help. It helps thinking like that. It's mind over matter.
So that is true. Quite a lot.
I got through the exercise. So the point being, we're the ones saying, oh, we're old, we're this, that, and the other. Whereas our parents are trying to be younger again. And that did sort of encourage me to get through the exercise.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, like for going to work, I don't think I took any sick days, and I still don't. You just muddle through it. That's because it's instilled into us from our parents.
But see, I was talking to someone else about this, right, the other day. I think it's just a whole generation shift, though.
Because why do you think it's changed now?
Yeah, new generation is just not the same. They do not care. I mean, I was talking to one of my friends who's a teacher, and she was saying how she manages others, and she goes, they don't care. They will, if they don't want to do something, they will say, I don't want to do it. And you're like, what the hell? Why would you not do that? Whereas when we were in those positions, it's like, oh no, I'll do that just to show that I am doing it, and I want to keep I don't enjoy this job or whatever, but I need to show them that I'm doing it. It's the right thing to do. Whereas now, they don't want to do it. They don't care. So it's not the fact that, our generation, I just think that it's just got lazier, and they will just do whatever they want. They don't care about what happens in the future.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So it's a whole turn of things.
Yes.
And it is a generational thing.
Yes. Not because we're just trying to copy our parents. It's just how it is, really.
But like parents, when we used to when we were thinking about picking our uni courses, it was like, right, ki karna, business karna, account, science, and you're like, are they the only subjects in the world?
Mm.
Because that's like all Asians do and can do.
But
Just
then, do you
those
know?
three subjects.
But then that has changed, though, hasn't it?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
changed now.
where you think, well, you can make money out of other things. You don't just have to be a doctor or an accountant to make loads of money.
That is true. You can be a
You could,
social media person.
yeah, you could be a porn star. No, joking. I'm only kidding.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the parents
No, okay,
listen
I'm
to
only
that
kidding.
bit. No,
But
no.
no, if whatever you're interested in, like art, otherwise known as porn. No, but you get what I'm saying. Like you have to enjoy what you're doing. Whereas it wasn't like that before. It was a case of, look, do this because it makes money, and they weren't wrong in saying it because they
But that
wanted the
might
best.
be because they came from like India, Pakistan, wherever they came from. And when they came here, they had to work hard, and it was just about making money, not enjoying what the job was about. It's just doing it. Do it, get the money, get the food on the table. But things like that have changed for us because they've made our money. We just need to live it up now.
Live it up, live it up,
Live it up.
and we are doing that, sitting in our bathrobes, recording.
In our mansions, we wish.
But yeah, but it is true. But I do think that is what that's one of the regrets I do have, though, because I did want to do something, I decided not to because we were listening to our parents. But then for us, this is where we aren't the same. Where we'd say to our kids, "Well, what do you want to do?" and follow it, now, even though they're young. Do it from now. Whereas we wouldn't have had that.
So would you, if your kid said, I want to do something in art, would you say, yeah, go and do it?
Yes, I would.
Because not like, for example, with art at school, they're not putting that much money towards it. Music, they're not. So are you encouraging your kids to be going to dead end jobs?
No, but I do think if you have a passion for something, you will do better at it. I really genuinely think that. And I don't think you should stop your kids from doing something they enjoy. So if it was art, I mean, there's artists out there. You look at people like Inquisitive. I mean, he's making bucks, isn't he? Doing something he enjoys.
Yeah, but that's one out of how many thousands?
Yeah, but this is where it comes to, if you really love what you're doing, does it matter how much money you make?
Yeah, because how are you going to live off it? How are you going to pay the bills? We might live in the, hey, you should love what you do, but you got to pay the bills as well first.
If you loved it enough, you'd find a way. See,
You
this is my philosophy now. I'm all about the love.
So, yeah, I see where you're
Do you
coming
not? You
from,
don't agree
but
then?
but it doesn't pay the bills, does it?
I think it would. If I think it would. I think you've
I
got to
think
enjoy it.
I agree that you should enjoy life and do what you enjoy, but you have to be at a level where you can do that. You need to be not comfortable, able to pay the bills and not look at the next paycheck. But if you're willing to live like that, hey, credit to you.
Yeah, but I was reading an article where it was a case of, it's not the money that you make, it's how you save it, I
Spend it.
guess.
Oh,
Well, yeah,
save
or
it.
don't send it. Yeah, there we are. How you save it. So if you save more, regardless of how much you're making, obviously you still have to work. But
I
anyway,
mean, one of the things with the Asian community is parents are like, buy houses, buy houses, buy houses. And that's a very Asian thing to do. Buy houses, invest in houses, and not look in other ways to invest because that's what they know,
yeah,
what they've carried on forwards. So as a child, if you invest in, I don't know, shares, quite a lot of parents would be like, you didn't buy a house. Because that would be the typical thing that you do, bricks and what do they call it? Bricks and
mortar.
mortar, yeah. So that's a very Asian thing to do as well.
Well, that's where a lot of the successes come from, the Asian community, though, isn't it? So it makes sense that they
Investing.
want to, yeah, that they want to carry on. I mean, there's only certain ways that you can invest and it appreciates, right? So, and that's one of them. So there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying it's the old school way of thinking. There's other ways to make money, like Bitcoin.
Are you
Not that I know.
encouraging Bitcoin?
No, I don't really know anything about it, but it was the first thing that sprung to mind, to be honest.
That's fine. I mean, okay, so we've sort of spoken about jobs, and where we go from that, what other funny sort of things, quirky,
Oh God,
margarine, washing your bags, what other stuff do you remember?
So do you know one thing I used to hate is when the parents go out and they go to a family whose their kids are really goody goodies, and dreading for them to come home.
I know this is a problem for you because you've mentioned this one in another podcast.
Yeah, and then they'd come home and they're like, "Oh, that kid could do this. That kid could do this," and you're like, "I really don't care.
Yeah,
Just
but
go back to that kid."
but this isn't just when you're younger. So a little while ago, Mum was talking about someone. I can't remember. I think they had just got married or something. I can't remember what it was. But basically, I was like, "Oh, how was the girl?" And I'm like, "Oh, so was the girl pretty? There's the usual. What was her clothes like?" She goes, "Yeah, she was all right. Twade vanguisi."
Oh, and yeah,
I'm
I
like,
hate you when Mum. What does that mean,
all right,
mother?
that's kind of you. But it always makes me laugh because I don't think all parents do that. I think there's certain parents that do that, but our ones are very happy in telling us that we look like shit. So that still makes me smile.
Oh, and I remember when any of the girls, once they got married and they went back home to visit, it was like, "Oh, you haven't put any makeup on." Basically, they wanted you to look different from you did when you were single.
Did you
You
get
haven't
that?
put,
I didn't get that.
yeah, that's probably because they knew that you wouldn't waste your time.
Yeah, I've never got that.
They're just happy that you were out of your bathrobe.
Yeah, fair enough. As I sit here in my
Out of your
bathrobe again.
gumble. Yeah, out of your gumble at home. So, that was a bonus for them. Forget about the makeup. The secondary, they're like, yeah, she's wearing outdoor clothes, that's enough.
We're just glad she got out. No, she ain't our problem anymore.
She's got to go.
She gotta go, yo.
So one thing that always makes me laugh, because I've started doing it as well, is when Mum used to say, "Taro tadape morkiauga o tanu dasuga." So basically, when your dad's back home, he'll sort you out. Now, I don't really speak that much Punjabi to the kids, which is bad. But I say pretty much the same thing. I'm like, if you're not going to listen, wait till your dad hears. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I do the same thing. But that's because they don't listen to us. Well, me. My kids don't. I could say something. I mean, we were doing something today, right? And I was supposed to lift a table, and then Suk told my son to lift it. I was like, "No, I'll do it." He goes, "No, it's fine. I'll get him to do it." Because, he's sexist pig. No, and then my son kept running after me going, "Yeah, weak girl. Go on, weak girl." I'm like,
that's not nice.
That isn't nice. There's no respect nowadays. The youngsters.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened back in the day because you would have got whipped.
Right?
Not physically, but just the look would have done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas we don't know. We haven't done that look. I need to perfect that look because it doesn't work for me. Because I remember
saying that I do have certain times where I do the look and it's like, okay, they work. It's usually when I have to get them to do work.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't got a look. Maybe I should look and master a look. The look of fear.
Yeah, no, it does work. They still know they have to listen if you got angry. Because I've realised I'm pretty passive. I don't get that angry with the kids. I don't think they deserve.
No, I don't. I don't think you do.
Have you noticed it as well? That's why they're crazy, isn't it?
I didn't want to say it.
Is it true though? Might have to look at my parenting techniques again.
So one of the things that the parents, like we were saying, they had a struggle making their money and everything, and so that meant looking after everything. So we had the remote control with the plastic on it, which was so annoying. But you'd do it because you'd be watching TV while you'd be eating roti or something. So if the dal went on it, you could clean it.
Yeah, but they used to happen all the time because Dad would always do it with the dal fingers.
Yeah, that's what I just imagined. So yeah, the plastic on the sofa.
Did we have plastic on the sofa?
We didn't, but I heard that quite a few people did used to have plastic on the sofa.
We didn't do plastic on the sofa.
No, we didn't.
We did
chadar on the sofa.
We did chadar on the sofa.
Oh,
but I do get it. But I get it. So, when we've just done the kitchen, we kept the plastic on there. And we've only recently just taken it off. And we've been here for 5 years. And it looks amazing once you've taken it off.
But people by 5 years, some people change their kitchen. We wouldn't, but we'd wait till everything fell off, like the doors and everything.
Yeah, but Yeah, but even with the control, I get why you'd put the plastic on there. Because then when you
And
did take...
yeah,
Because
that's
then
what
you get crumbs in between the buttons, so I get it.
but we're all right with our remote controls at the moment. We haven't had issues like that. So
Well,
why did we have issues back in the day?
because I
Didn't
used
have.
to have those little rubber sort of buttons that were deeper. I don't know.
No, I think they were the same. I just maybe we didn't know how to eat back in the day.
Well, that is true. We don't eat on the sofas anymore. I don't know if you... All right, fine. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we don't either.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
We eat around the table, the
Of
dining
course.
table.
All right, fine. I don't know. I mean, do you remember? There's a photo that I remember of this. You know, in the corridor, you'd have that plastic roll.
Oh God, that was annoying. I hated that.
But every Asian household had that.
Why?
I have no idea.
But I do understand actually,
Why?
because it kept the carpet clean.
Did it?
Yeah, it did. Because you'd come from outside with your dirty shoes, and if you happened to accidentally walk further than the mat,
Further than the mat, yes.
further than the mat, then you're the dirt. So that plastic would protect your carpet for
So,
donkey's years.
okay, fine. So we hated it at the time. But would we do it again then?
No, because once we lifted, I don't know, there must have been a period of time where all the Asian households, I don't know if there was a secret meeting or something, decided to lift that plastic off the floor. I mean, what made me really laugh talking about plastic is one day we were all sitting around, our cousin brother was around, and we had like this double door and it'd been there for 15 years or something.
Yeah, I know.
And he goes, do you know this plastic is not meant to be on here?
No, he didn't say that. He
What
goes,
did he say?
no, he goes, are those new doors? And we're like,
Oh.
no. And he's like, why is the plastic on there? We're like, what are you talking about?
Where?
And then 15 years later, we took the plastic off.
No, because he took it off and we were like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I
That's
remember
what
that.
it was. He took the plastic off. We were like, what are you doing? And he's like, this isn't meant to be here. And he's like, oh, I thought it was part of the door.
But the annoying thing is, it was a line. So yeah, that line was really nice and clean, but on the side of it, it wasn't. So it
Yeah,
sort of,
that's true.
it didn't work.
That is true. But even like, for example, the typical things that parents say, like, so
They
basically,
didn't say that often to us, did they?
they didn't say it that often, but I remember that line because it's funny.
Okay.
And it was a case of don't go gallivanting all day and all night or whatever. You better come home on time.
So do you say that to the kids?
No, because they're too young to go out.
So you're waiting to say that when you hit that stage?
No, because now we'll have all the apps on the phone, so you could follow them.
You can track them.
Trackers, that's it. Trackers, that's the word I was looking for. Back in the day, you didn't have a tracker. You just had to trust that the kid returned to their home.
Fingers crossed.
Hey, but it worked.
Okay, so the other thing that the older generation do is, so the other thing is, after giving birth, having the panjiri.
Yeah, that I noticed that the other day. Not that I just gave birth the other day, but I've started to eat panjiri. Why? What does it make you think when you eat it?
So it made me question. So some people don't have the panjiri, or they're like, oh no, I don't need it. You're so backwards.
So what is the panjiri again? What is it made of? Is it like nuts and sogia, so sultanas?
Yeah. Well, you should know better than me because you make it and I don't.
I don't make it. I made it once.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so the whole thing is, should you be eating this sort of stuff, or is it just a backwards thing? Now, my way of thinking, and I did do the whole resting for the long period of time and all this sort of stuff, whereas nowadays it's probably like, yeah, whatever sort of thing. But my viewpoint was, I might not understand why people do this, but it may well and is highly likely to be for a very good reason, health reason. And it's the same thing with the panjiri. I mean, you've got that many nuts and all that sort of stuff, and that's why I'd have it, even if I didn't understand the reason.
Yeah.
That's changing, I guess.
Well, for me, when I had it the other day, what hit me was like, oh my God, I'm turning old. It marks being old when you start deciding to have a spoon of it or some of it a day.
Yeah, I started again
good for
today.
the bones.
But it's true.
But it is. It's like a fruit or a nut bar.
Yes.
It is pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, there are certain things that the older generation did, and I still don't understand, but I would do it for the
But there
health
was
benefit.
quite a lot, yeah. But there was quite a lot of things when we were younger we didn't question, and you just done it for the hell of doing it.
Like what?
Like, oh, I know, don't cut your nails at night. I just recently, yeah, there
Where did
was.
you get that from?
Do you know something? I don't know what world you lived in because you don't. You seem to not know quite a lot of things that
Who
happened
said
in.
that? Wait a second. Who said that?
They used to say that when we were younger.
Who's they?
The parents.
They
You were
did
obviously
not.
you were too busy in your gumball watching TV. And I've just recently found out why they used to say don't cut your nails at night.
Go on.
So I was told that the reason why it was
By who?
because by a friend,
Okay.
and they what it was in back in India, because obviously it was hard. They didn't have that much transport, so if someone had hurt themselves, injured themselves with a nail cutter, maybe they wouldn't have had nail cutters. They would have cut them with scissors or something like that. Um, and they used to say don't keep cutting scissors like just in the air, just in case you hurt yourselves.
I
So
remember that.
the whole point was that if you hurt yourself at night time, you'd have no one to help you to go to the hospital. That was the whole reason behind that. And I only found out 35, 40 years later
Okay.
why.
Firstly, I don't remember this nail cut. I understand the scissors, but that makes sense. I mean, that's logical. Why the hell would you do that in the air anyway?
Both things it is.
But cutting your nails would be practical, so I don't get.
No, but if you accidentally cut your finger or something like that,
Well,
because
then
I
you might
don't
as
think
well
in
just
those,
stay in bed.
no, but I think in those days you wouldn't have used a nail cutter. You would have used a pair of scissors to cut your nails.
I think you make up a lot of stories in your
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Okay, fine.
But there's quite a few things that have got reasons behind it. But our parents didn't question why they didn't do certain things or weren't allowed to do certain things. And we only questioned half and half, I would say. I think as we've got older, we've started questioning, why should we not do this? Why shouldn't we do that?
I don't know. I don't really question anything. I just do whatever anyone tells me to do.
Well, that's where the problem is.
I agree. So, going back to the question, have we turned into our parents? And your answer?
Yes, definitely. But I understand why.
Do you think it's a positive or a negative then?
I think it's just, I don't think there's a case of positive or negative. I think it's what you said at the beginning. It's just the life stage you're at, like screaming at your kids because they don't listen. It's just part of life, and you pass those stages. And I think, and majority of time, until you don't pass that stages, you're like you never cross that particular river, you won't understand.
Oh, there's your mic drop.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think it is, like I said, the stage of life. But is it positive or negative? Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't mind turning into mum. I think you've got to. Here's one. Okay, I think the whole point of as you live, you have to learn, and if you don't learn,
you don't live.
Then you're not learning. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but it's true. I think as you grow up, you are learning daily, and you realise that what they were saying was actually true. So you bloody well should have listened then. Yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the mess that you're in now. No. Okay. So on that point, I mean, we've covered a lot of things because obviously we had a lot to say very quickly of what our parents were telling us to do and not do. But it is definitely food for thought. We have now turned into our mother. Lucky her.
It'd be great if people would share their stories on our Facebook page.
And the Facebook page is changing_suits. And on that note, goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, changing_suits, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.